Expand your vocabulary with our core 2,000 words ebook. It's free and packed with essential expressions that you'll use on a daily basis. Start building your vocabulary today. Click the link in the description below to download your free Russian ebook before it's gone.
Hi everyone, and welcome to Ask a Teacher. I'm Lina, and I'm here to answer the most common questions you send us about the Russian language. And the question for today is, what are the differences between Russian and English sentence structures? The most obvious difference between Russian and English sentence structure is word order. English has a fixed order of subject, verb, and object. Russian is a lot more flexible. In Russian, you can place an object both before and after the verb. Take the sentence I don't know him. Я не знаю его. Here, его, him, is an object. It can be placed before the verb Я его не знаю, after the verb Я не знаю его, and even in the very beginning of the sentence Его я не знаю. All these sentences would be perfectly grammatically correct and would mean one and the same thing. At first, it may seem simple and even convenient to be able to switch the words around. However, the reason Russian sentences make sense, no matter how you shuffle the words around, is that the words themselves carry a lot of grammar nuances. If you need to convey a grammar nuance, you make a change to the word, not the whole structure. And this change can be made with the help of suffixes, prefixes, or endings. Almost all Russian words can be changed. Let's see how Russian nouns can be changed. Russian nouns decline depending on 6 grammar cases. You decline a noun when you need to change it from its initial or nominative form to some other form. For example, the word палочки, chopsticks, is an initial form. It can be used in a sentence like this. Вот мои палочки. Here are my chopsticks. To say that you eat sushi with chopsticks, you change the word палочки into палочками. I eat sushi with chopsticks. Я ем суши палочками. So you take out the ending «и» and replace it with the ending «ами». Палочки палочками. Палочками is an instrumental case of the word палочки. As you can see, the change is made with the help of an ending, not with the help of preposition, as in English. Nouns can also change according to gender, masculine, feminine or neuter, and according to number, singular or plural. Adjectives and some pronouns can undergo the same changes as nouns. But don't you be scared. In some ways, Russian is even easier than English. First, there are no articles in Russian, as opposed to English, and some other languages like Spanish or French, which even have gender articles. Secondly, there are only 3 verb tenses in Russian, a lot fewer than English has. In English, in the present tense, for an action that happens regularly, you'd say, I play basketball. And for an action that is happening right this moment, you'd say, I am playing basketball. In Russian, instead of these 2 structures, you only need to use one. Я играю в баскетбол. And then you can specify. Я играю в баскетбол каждый день. I play basketball every day. И я играю в баскетбол сейчас. I'm playing basketball right now. Another thing that makes learning Russian is just a bit easier is that there are no auxiliary verbs in Russian. Words like do, have, or be. Of course, we do have all these basic words in Russian. The thing is that they don't act like auxiliaries in the sentences. In English, if you need to make a negative out of a statement, you need to carefully choose the right form of the auxiliary verb, do, for example, and make changes to the word order. So, he liked ice cream in its negative form becomes he didn't like ice cream. We like ice cream becomes we don't like ice cream. And the baby likes ice cream becomes the baby doesn't like ice cream, and so on. In Russian, all you need to do is use one and the same word «не», which can be translated into English as not. This word «не» can be placed in front of any word in the sentence, and that alone will make the sentence negative. So, он любил мороженое. He liked ice cream. Он не любил мороженое. He didn't like ice cream. Мы любим мороженое. We like ice cream. Мы не любим мороженое. We don't like ice cream. Ребенок любит мороженое. The baby likes ice cream. Ребенок не любит мороженое. The baby doesn't like ice cream. Easy. Lastly, just like with negatives, to turn a statement into a question, in English, you need to change the entire structure. In Russian, all you need to change is intonation. So in English, you are going to work tomorrow becomes are you going to work tomorrow? In Russian, you don't have to move the words around. All you need to do is change your intonation and the statement becomes a question. Like this. Ты идешь на работу завтра. You are going to work tomorrow. Ты идешь на работу завтра? Are you going to work tomorrow? So how was it? Pretty interesting, right? Do send me some more questions about the Russian language usage, and I'll be happy to answer them. До встречи! See you soon!
Welcome to RussianPod101.com's Русский язык за 3 минуты. The fastest, easiest and the most fun way to learn Russian. Привет, меня зовут Светлана. Очень приятно. Hi, I'm Svetlana. Nice to meet you. In this series, we're going to learn basic Russian expressions. It's super easy and it takes only 3 minutes. In this lesson, you are going to learn how to introduce yourself in Russian. There are a few ways to do so, depending on how formal you want to be. Let's first take a look at an informal way to introduce yourself in Russian. It's very short and simple. Привет, меня зовут Светлана. Очень приятно. Hi, I'm Svetlana. Nice to meet you. Привет, меня зовут Светлана. Очень приятно. Start with the greeting «Привет». Then you introduce yourself by saying «Меня зовут». And then your name. Меня зовут Светлана. Finally say «Nice to meet you». The simplified and very casual phrase for it is «Очень приятно». The whole phrase will be «Привет, меня зовут Светлана. Очень приятно». Now let's take a look at more formal version for greeting and self-introduction. It's a bit longer than the previous one. You ready? Here we go. Здравствуйте, меня зовут Светлана. Приятно познакомиться. Hello, my name is Svetlana. It's a pleasure to meet you. Здравствуйте, меня зовут Светлана. Приятно познакомиться. What has changed from the previous introduction? Let's take a closer look at these together. First, we changed the greeting word «привет» to «здравствуйте». It's very formal and official greeting which can be used any time of the day. Morning, afternoon, evening, or even at night. Luckily, the phrase you use to introduce your name stays the same. Меня зовут Светлана. Next, after giving your name, you say «приятно познакомиться». It's more formal, but can be used in informal greeting as well. It literally means it's a pleasure to meet you. Once more, the formal way to introduce yourself is «Здравствуйте, меня зовут Светлана. Приятно познакомиться». In the sentence «Меня зовут Светлана», «меня» is myself, and «зовут» is to be called. So the literal translation is I'm called Svetlana. Unlike English, where I would say my name is Svetlana, in Russian we basically say somebody calls me Svetlana. Interesting, huh? Now it's time for Svetlana's tips. It's common to shake hands both when you greet somebody and leave them in Russia. Handshaking is more common for men, but women also practice it a lot lately. And don't forget direct eye contact. It's very important in Russia. Good friends usually give hugs and kiss each other on the cheeks 3 times. Okay, that's it for this lesson. Do you know how to say thank you in Russian? We'll learn how to say this and many other words in next lesson. Пока-пока! До скорых встреч! See you soon!
Hi everyone, Lena here. Welcome to Ask a Teacher, where I'll answer some of your most common Russian questions. The question for today is, what's palatalization in Russian? And what's the difference between a soft sign and a hard sign? First off, what's palatalization? I know it sounds complicated, but most Russians know it simply as the softening of consonants. Palatalization is basically a way of pronouncing certain consonants. When you move your tongue from the back of your teeth to the center of the roof of your mouth, the palate, and that move will soften your consonants. You can hear that softening in the English word new, for example. Let's do some examples so that you could understand the notion of consonant softening. In English, the hard pronunciation of the sound n is heard in the word nook. When you pronounce the word nook, the tip of your tongue is right behind your upper teeth. In the word new, the sound n is palatalized or softened, and that means that the tongue is lying flatly in the middle of the roof of your mouth. In Russian, palatalization or softness can be achieved by 2 means. First, you can palatalize your consonants by the vowels that follow them. In Russian, there are 10 vowels that come in hard and soft pairs. A, ya, I, O, yo, E, ye, U, you. So the soft vowels are ya, I, you, yo, ye, and the hard vowels are A, I, U, O, E. So, if a consonant is followed by one of the soft vowels, it's considered palatalized. Let's take, for example, the Russian name Katya. In this name, the sound K is hard and not palatalized because it's followed by the hard vowel R. However, T is soft and palatalized because it's followed by the counterpart of the sound A, ya, Katya. The second case, when you can hear a palatalized consonant, is when it's followed by a soft sign. A soft sign is a letter without its own pronunciation. What this letter does is it softens or palatalizes the sound preceding it. Let's compare 2 words, mel, chalk, and mel, sandbar or shoal. Can you hear the softened l at the end of the mel? That's what the soft sign does. Now, if there's a soft sign, there also must be a hard sign, right? In Russian, a hard sign doesn't have its own pronunciation either. What hard sound does, it separates a consonant and a soft vowel in a word. For example, let's take the word отъели. They ate something. If we didn't have a hard sign between the sounds t and ye, we would end up with the word отели, which sounds different and means hotels. Well, how was it? Pretty interesting, right? Do you have any more questions to ask me? Leave them in the comments below, and I'll do my best to answer them. До встречи! See you soon!
Want to master grammar so you can speak properly, express yourself better, and understand more? In this video, I'll show you how to master grammar with our lessons and learning program. Let's begin. Number 1. Listen to the lesson conversations and explanations. In every lesson, you learn a conversation. Then, Our teachers break down every word and grammar rule. So you're actually learning grammar rules in the context of conversations, and you can easily see how they're used. Once you're done, review the conversation again and again to remember what you've learned. Number 2, read the bonus explanations and tutorials. With the lesson notes, you get extra grammar explanations and examples that are not presented in the lesson. After you're done with the lesson, read the lesson notes for extra review. You can even save them as PDFs so that you can access them anytime. Number 3, leave a comment on the lesson. Once you've learned a grammar point, be sure to use it. Leave a comment in the comments section. Write some example sentences for practice. Our teachers will review your comment and give you feedback. Number 4, unlock even more grammar lessons. If you want to find all of the grammar lessons available, visit our lesson library. Under Category, choose Grammar. You'll get all of the pathways and lessons dedicated to helping you learn and master sentence patterns and grammar points. So, if you're ready to finally learn a new language the fast, fun, and easy way, sign up for your free lifetime account by clicking on the link in the description. Signing up takes less than 30 seconds, and you'll start speaking from your very first lesson. If you enjoyed these tips, hit the like button, share it with anyone who's trying to learn a new language, and subscribe to our channel. We release new videos every week. I'll see you next time. Bye!
Hi everyone, Lena here. Welcome to Ask a Teacher, where I'll answer some of your most common Russian questions. The question for this lesson is, what is verb conjugation and what to consider when conjugating a verb? Verb conjugation is a change in the form of the verb depending on the number and person. Just like in English, there are 3 grammatical persons in Russian. For singular, they are я, I, ты, you, он, она, оно, he, she, it. For plural, they are мы, we, вы, you, они, they. So, to conjugate a verb, you need to change their personal ending. For example, я читаю, I'm reading. Он читает, he reads. Дети читают, the children are reading. If we know how to conjugate the verb, we can avoid spelling mistakes, which are common in the unstressed personal endings of the verbs. For example, the verb читаете, you are reading. Which is the right vowel to put here? Ye or e? In rapid speech, ye and e in the unstressed position sound the same. But if you know the right conjugation of the verb читать, you wouldn't hesitate. Ye is the right vowel to put here. Читаете. In Russian, there are 2 conjugations. The vowel ye is mostly used in the endings of the first conjugation verbs. The vowel e is mostly used in the endings of the second conjugation verbs. Let's explore the typical endings of the first conjugation verbs. First person singular, у, you. Second person singular, ешь, ешь. Third person singular, ед, ет. First person plural, ем, ем. Second person plural, ете, ете. Third person plural, ут, ют. Now let's take a look at the typical endings of the second conjugation verbs. First person singular, у, you. Second person singular, иш. Third person singular, it. First person plural, им. Second person plural, ите. Third person plural, at, ят. Let's conjugate the verb читать, meaning to read, which is a first conjugation verb in Russian. Я читаю, I'm reading. Ты читаешь, you are reading. Он читает, he is reading. Мы читаем, we are reading. Вы читаете, you are reading. Они читают, they are reading. So the pattern here is to remove the ending t from the infinitive form of the verb you'll find in a dictionary and add the appropriate ending of the first conjugation. The infinitives of the first conjugation verbs usually end in ать, ять, оть, еть, уть, and so on. Let's move to the second conjugation verbs and conjugate the verb учить, which means to teach, to learn, or to study. Я учу, I teach. Ты учишь, you teach. Он учит, he teaches. Мы учим, we teach. Вы учите, you teach. Они учат, they teach. The pattern here is once again to remove the ending it from the infinitive form of the verb and add the appropriate ending of the second conjugation to the remaining base uch. Most verbs ending in it are the second conjugation verbs. There are a few exceptions, such as the verbs брить, to shave, and слышать, to hear. Now you can easily conjugate the verbs by looking up their infinitive forms in the dictionary and making changes to the endings. The verbs in different aspects and moods conjugate in the same way. For example, if you come across the verb прочитаете, you shouldn't be confused by the prefix про in front of the verb читаете. You should just look up the infinitive form of the verb прочитать and conjugate it in the same way you would conjugate the verb читать. The trick's done. Conjugating verbs may seem difficult, but starting practicing with the basic verbs will certainly make you proficient and confident in a short time. Pretty interesting, right? If you have more questions, leave them in the comments below. До встречи! See you soon!
Привет всем! С вами Светлана. Hi everybody, I'm Светлана. Welcome to RussianPod101.coms. Русский язык за 3 минуты. The fastest, easiest and the most fun way to learn Russian. In the last lesson, we learned how to introduce ourselves in Russian. Today we are going to learn how to use good manners as we thank people. Готовы? Are you ready? Поехали! Then let's start. There are several ways to thank people. Let's start with the most common phrase спасибо. Спасибо. Спасибо means thank you. To say thank you very much, you just need to add большое. Большое спасибо. Большое спасибо. Большое means big. In context, большое спасибо literally means big thanks. So when someone thanks you, how should you answer? There are several ways to respond to this phrase. One which is fairly close in translation to the English phrase "you're welcome" is пожалуйста. It's very common in Russia, but we also use another phrase quite often. Не за что, which means not at all. The word пожалуйста means something like please in English. Пожалуйста. In English, it sounds a little bit strange to say please when somebody thanks you, right? But by using this word, you're indicating that you are pleased to be helpful. Не за что means more or less the same thing as пожалуйста, but offers a little more courtesy. Say не за что. Не за что. One which is fairly close in translation to the English phrase "you're welcome" is пожалуйста. It's very common in Russia, but we also use another phrase quite often, не за что, which means not at all. Now it's time for Svetlana's tips. When saying thank you in Russia, body language is very important. Спасибо is the universal word and can be used in both formal and informal cases. You can make it sound more formal just by changing your intonation, like this. Спасибо. Friends usually act more openly and even slap each other on the shoulder. In any case, it's very important that your thanks be accompanied with smile and again. direct eye contact. Спасибо. Good job! That's it for this lesson. By the way, do you know what "до свидания" means? In our next lesson, you'll learn these and other greetings in Russian. Всем спасибо. Пока-пока.
Hi everyone, Lina here. Welcome to Ask a Teacher, where I'll answer some of your most common Russian questions. The question for today is, how to tell the gender of a noun? In Russian, the gender of nouns is determined by the endings, suffixes, and some other indicators. However, you can accurately tell the gender of a noun only if it's in a singular number of the nominative case. Let me try to explain to you how it all works. Masculine nouns, names included, usually have at their end either a consonant, including y, or a soft sign, which, as you remember, doesn't have a sound of its own. For example, круг, circle, гость, guest, чай, tea, Ivan, that's a Russian male name. It's important to mention that diminutive or short Russian male names usually end in a vowel, in either a or ya. For example, the diminutive of the name Anton is Antosha. The diminutive of Dmitry is Dima. The diminutive of Mikhail is Misha. And diminutive of Ivan is Vanya. Feminine nouns, names included, usually end with either a vowel or a soft sign. For example, книга, book, земля, land, мать, mother, Елена, that's a Russian female name. And feminine nouns usually have the suffix ost. Радость, happiness, верность, loyalty, честность, honesty. Finally, neuter nouns have vowels o, ye, and yo as their endings. For example, окно, window, зелье, potion, ружье, rifle. Certain suffixes can also serve as gender indicators. For example, the typical masculine suffixes are тель, онок, and ёнок. Строитель, builder, оттенок, tint, котенок, kitten. And now we'll talk a bit about the cases when adjectives act as nouns. The examples of these are караульный, guard, столовая, dining room, сладкое, sweets. Again, similarly to the regular nouns, such words have typical endings. The masculine ending is «ый», with the consonant at the end, караульный. The feminine ending is «ая», with the vowel at the end, столовая. The neuter ending is «оя», with the vowel «е» at the end, сладкое. You may find an etymological dictionary to be a very useful tool in mastering Russian genders. This kind of a dictionary explains the meaning and the origin of the words and has all the nouns tagged with their respective genders. Pretty interesting, right? If you have more questions, please leave a comment below. До встречи! See you soon!
Expand your vocabulary with our Core 2000 Words ebook. It's free and packed with essential expressions that you'll use on a daily basis. Start building your vocabulary today. Click the link in the description below to download your free Russian ebook before it's gone.